Welcome to Fitness and Finance Radio. I am your co-host, Tony Shore, and I'm here with our hosts, Jennifer Scherer and Jeff Smith. Jennifer and Jeff, J&J on the F&F show. It's all alphabetical. Today's show sponsored by the letter F. Awesome. Fitness and Finance. So you guys, it's going to be a great show. I've got some serious questions for you. I'm going to jump right in first and say, listeners, if you need some more information on how to get healthy, how to stay physically healthy and financially healthy, pick up the phone, give them a call. What is that new? You have a web address. Is it live yet? Is the 541 live yet?
Not quite.
Okay.
Almost.
All right.
We have about 1,000 projects going on. So.
Jennifer, where can they go to get a hold of you and maybe set up, some training or consultation for their physical well-being?
Yeah. So go to our website, and that's fbergfitness.com, and you'll click on the link at the top. It says book free discovery call, and you'll be put right on my schedule.
Fberg. How do you spell it?
FBURG Fitness. However, you can also go to FXBG Fitness because both will take you to the same homepage.
Tricky.
Yeah. Look at that.
So either one, whichever one.
Yep. And Jeff, I can handle it for you. I'll do the heavy lifting. Just give Jeff a call at 540-371-9777 or check out theretirementsmith.com. Now, first question, though, for you. This one's just for Jeff. First one's going to be mainly directed at Jeff. The second one for both of you. Jeff, our first question, I'm sure listeners have asked this. We've gotten tons of messages and calls. Where are your shirt sleeves? That's kind of what everybody's wanting to know.
That's the top of the list, isn't it? I believe that's the most frequently asked question.
Why are there no sleeves on your shirt? What happened to them? Did you cut them off of every shirt you get?
They just show up. I thought because of my financial background that I get some portion of the costs lower because there's no sleeve. So it was really more of a budgetary issue.
We also have a lot of listeners wondering, they're like, I'm having a hard time finding shirts without sleeves. Where do you buy them?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I can get some
sporting goods. I imagine the sports section, workout section. Is that where you buy yours?
Yeah. Yes. I look for places that don't have sleeves.
All right, great.
That's where I go.
Good, because you got the gun show. You got to show off the gun show. But on a serious note,
also 1,000 degrees here today in Virginia. So
well, you wanted to call the show "What is your intake?" Like, are you and on more ways than one? Physical, mental intake. Parents said. My parents always told me, what was it they said? Garbage in, garbage out when I'd watch too much TV or watch dumb shows or play too many video games. Garbage in, garbage out. You are what you read. You are what you watch. You are what you eat. We always hear that. But I'm going to start with a question about intake. I want to change my intake. Jeff, you may know this gentleman. I don't know if he's a mutual friend, but you and I, you may know this advisor, you may not. There's another financial advisor from Omaha named Bill, and Bill Altman. He has lost so much weight and looked so healthy. He's lost a lot of weight, but not one of these. I don't think he hasn't done a really. I hope it's not a fad diet because he's gotten me into this. I went out yesterday. I bought something. I want to see what you guys think. I bought a juicer.
Yes.
I've never used a juicer.
Okay.
I've never even seen one in a home, right? Out in the wild. I've never seen one. I've seen them in the store or online, pictures, but I've never seen one in the wild actually in someone's house. So I now own one. I haven't started using it yet. I just got it yesterday. So because I told Bill, I go, you look really healthy. A few months ago, he did a physical, got a checkup, and his doctor said, look, your levels are all off. You got to change some things. And so one of the things he goes, and I go, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm juicing. And I'm like, you're using steroids?
Right.
And he goes, He goes, no, not that juicing. I go, to me, that's what juicing is. And he goes, no, I take vegetables and I put them in a juicer along with, I put wheatgrass or kale or whatever. He told me about one he likes to do. So I'm going to start doing this. I'm bad about eating vegetables. We've gone over my thoughts pretty much on every show about kale. Kale comes up, my hatred thereof. So I thought, well, this is a good way to get it in there. And I know I've read a lot about this now. I know you don't get all the fiber, so you still need to eat some regular vegetables. But what do you think? What are your thoughts, Jennifer? Yes or no?
I think it can be almost like a gateway habit, if that makes sense. I think if you start juicing, it might lead you to other healthy habits, like
Sure.
looking at labels or, meal
Sure.
prepping, that type of thing. I will say be cautious with fruit, too much fruit, just because it can spike your blood sugar.
Well, we know somebody with blueberry issues at the T Shore House.
That's true. My son Adam has blueberry issues. You remembered that? Wow, what a callback. I don't know if our listeners remember, but yeah, I guess you can't sit on the couch and eat an entire huge plastic thing of blueberries within 20 minutes and not have it affect your digestive system, bowels. But you're right. In fact, I've read that everything I read, there's a pretty good Reddit discussion about it. You can't get medical advice or good advice from the internet a lot, but Reddit usually, people are pretty straightforward, and that's what they all said is juicing's great, but if you use too much fruit, it's too much sugar, because even vegetables have some sugar content.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, it does help you consume a much wider variety of produce, and especially like for you with kale, that's an easy way to get kale in.
Yeah.
You can put other things in there to kind of spice it up, so to speak.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's something that you could do like long term?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I know it sounds weird. I like drinking, but not alcohol. I'm not talking
Right.
I'm not talking, Jeff, about you.
He's like, here's my juice, and then he throws a little vodka in there. He's like, well,
yeah. I mean, with rum,
some tomatoes, or potatoes.
Yeah. So no, but in fact, I stopped drinking alcohol because that's helped me lose some weight. That's really helped. But no, I think I love making mixed, drinks or ice drinks. I love having smoothies, but they have so much sugar in them. I've been doing, fruit smoothies, and that's really good, but it's sugar, and I'm pre-diabetic anyway. I'm not supposed to have all that sugar. My doctor tells me so.
Yeah. So I would probably do like a 3-to-1 ratio for you then, like 3 veggies to 1 fruit when you're juicing. Yep. Yeah. I think it's a great.
Have you guys ever done that? Do you juice at all?
I did a little bit.
A little bit.
I have done a little bit, but I like to eat my veggies.
Yeah, that's good. You guys are good.
The thing is, like, I know I have a good friend who like swears by it, and every time, he like creeps up, and then he'll gain a bunch of weight, and then he goes on a juice fast, and then he just juices for like 2 weeks or whatever, and he's back down to whatever weight he wants to be at.
Sure.
And,
he yo-yoing isn't always healthy, I've heard. But
he was an MMA fighter. He was a guy that was able to, put it on or take it off when he needed to make weight and stuff. So, he knew what he was doing, but he swore by it, and I think he felt a lot better. It's like a detox situation. We have livers and we have lungs and we have kidneys to detox, but sometimes when you run that kind of stuff through your body, it's almost like a reset. And we were just talking about that today, weren't we, Jennifer? Like how there's good, sometimes having a reset every once in a while is not a bad idea.
I like the idea of a reset. I wasn't necessarily thinking of just going. I know people talk about juice cleanse or going on just a fast where all you drink is use the juicer and drink the juice. And, I was thinking about doing it to offset and cutting down what I eat quite a bit, but not fast, not just juice.
Yeah, I don't know that you can do that. That seems terrible.
I don't think there's any scientific evidence in terms of, an actual flushing out of toxins, so to speak, with juicing.
Sure.
Our liver, most of our organs do that naturally.
Sure.
This is why we have a professional on this panel.
There we go. Yes. Jennifer, thank you for reeling us in.
Yeah.
We get excited.
It is actually, clinically speaking, juicing is a lot of times used when clients need a rest and digest, so to speak. Like if they have irritable bowel syndrome, any GI flare up, because it removes the fiber from the fruit or vegetable. It makes it a lot easier to digest it.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I still need some type of fiber, and it does remove the fiber. So, I'm going to try to eat some vegetables whole as well. But I think maybe this is a gateway drug back into vegetables.
Well, if you need to get fiber, you can always look at like chickpeas, like hummus.
Yeah. I love hummus.
I mean, and you can we were talking about, I mean, we launched another business called Functional Food to Go, and we actually met the last 4 or 5 hours here dealing with that.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we found is a really big impact food wise is chickpea pasta, because you end up with protein and the fiber, which is a very rare combination. What do you call that, Jennifer? What's the
complete
term?
Protein?
Yeah, complete protein.
Yeah, well, you're making plant-based food a complete protein by combining two foods, like beans and rice, for example, is a complete protein because it's giving it all the essential amino acids. So it's important when you're thinking about that. If you are vegetarian or vegan, how can I get a complete protein in my diet?
And
chickpeas are like a wonder food, aren't they? I mean, they're really great.
They're a little bit high in calorie, so you have to be. Sorry, Jennifer.
No, go ahead.
Jennifer's expertise. I just say, from that perspective, you have to just be careful, mindful. You can't eat them 3 times a day. I don't think that's advisable.
So I buy the big thing of hummus, and then I take a nice big thick piece of bread. And then I dip it in the hummus and I eat the bread. I cover it with maybe some olive oil, some oil.
Nice.
And dip the bread then in the hummus. Oh, I've ruined the beneficial effects by using the big chunks of I like the flat bread. You buy the nice thick flat bread and dip it in the hummus. But the bread you got to watch out. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are breads that are made without any artificial ingredients. Just look at the label. Pay attention. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with dipping broccoli in that too.
Yeah.
Well, or snap peas.
There might be a couple of things wrong with it, but see, you have to like broccoli first.
That's true.
Well, I guess if you just juice that and go on to carrots. I mean, everybody likes carrots, right?
Yeah, I love carrots.
I think carrots are delicious.
Yeah, they are. They're like the candy of the vegetable kingdom.
I think that's corn. I think corn is
corn. Oh yeah, is corn still considered a vegetable?
I don't think it's.
I mean, when we boil the sweet corn and then we cover it in butter and spice.
Oh my god!
And then you eat the roasted corn at the fair. They roast the corn cob, and then you watch them. They dip it in the butter, and it's just. And,
I'm surprised they haven't.
And then my body says, "Wait, you can't eat that. We don't digest corn anymore, ever." My body says to me, We can't digest the corn. That's what my body tells me. I grew up on a farm. I mean, they raised corn, but we also had a little sweet corn patch, and I'd go out and pick it. Mom would boil it. We'd eat it for supper. I'd pick the potatoes. Nice. We'd have fresh mashed potatoes that I picked that day, and sweet corn right off and it was so good. And at some point in my, I'm going to say mid to late 40s, closing on 50, my body just said, we're never going to ever digest corn again.
Yeah.
Wow. And so I still will once in a while suffer and kill myself and have a corn cob. But I'm like, yeah, it's worth it. Yeah.
I grew up the same way. Yep, on a farm, getting corn fresh that day, shucking it. I remember seeing the plate of corn on the cob, remnants, and it was like a mountain. I think my brother at one point might have eaten like 8 or 9.
Yep.
My meal.
My son, I think he ate 6 at one time. We had all these empty cobs, and I'm like, how much corn? And my wife and kids still eat it like crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I might have half of one just to be safe.
Well, I grew up in upstate New York, so our corn cobs would be just chicken bones from buffalo wings.
Buffalo wings.
Yeah.
Just a big plate of the yeah. That's awesome.
That's our
Well,
sweet corn.
well, I didn't mean to derail the show today with my own juicing talk, but I thought Jennifer would be an expert on this. I mean, so you honestly, your personal feelings after doing a lot of research and training and helping people train and look at their health. So juicing, yes or no overall?
Yes, I think if you are busy or, you're an older adult and it's harder to eat higher volumes of, produce, or if like chewing is difficult in general, or if it's more appealing, if it's going to get your vegetable and fruit intake up, I'm all for it.
I mean, if you like cleaning, and I think if you really enjoy taking a lot of time to build your meal, you're going to love juicing.
Well, I know that cleaning the juicer, I read all about it, but
You're all in.
the one I bought is really supposed to be one of the easiest to clean.
Oh,
so.
good. That's really key because if you want to make it past 3 days, you got to figure out that cleaning piece pretty quickly.
Yes, that's what I've heard. People give up on juicing right away because of the prep and the cleaning.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, geez, and I do like the fiber, really. That was one of the issues that I always faced with that. But I mean, honestly, anytime Tony Shore will get some kale into his body, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a really
well, I think you could call it a good thing or miracle. The word miracle pops. The word miracle pops into mind.
Make sure you're eating other balanced food with it. It's not like a meal replacement.
Well, what if he has? Can you juice pizza?
I don't know. We could try. That healthy pepperoni juice in there. Yeah, well, you can juice pizza. It's called grease. And am I above licking the grease off the pizza pan from a pepperoni pizza? No, I'm not above that. Well, I'm above it in a way.
He's a man of the people.
I'm a man of the people.
You're a man of the people.
So when you said you wanted to call the show, what is your intake? What are we talking about, Jeff?
Well, for the financial side, I'm always, very cautious of what, I look at on a daily basis for, knowledge, right? So, I mean, TV, reading, that's really what I meant. And food too. I mean, food just, can make us anxious. I mean, I think the better we can stay, focused on our particular situation and stop worrying about everything in the world. You know what I mean? I think it's important to understand what's going on in your world. I'm not trying to put my head in the sand, but I look at certain sources of news for the financial piece, right? And I want facts. I don't want opinion. And because every time you get involved with opinion, there's something that drives you and motivates you, maybe in a fearful way or in an emotional way. I think a lot of ways that you can sell products on TV is by getting viewers to tune into your outrageous claims, right? I think the more outrageous it is and the more fearful it is, the more people hang around. And I'm telling you, just break free from that. Stop looking at that nonsense. I mean, if you look at anything news related and you're on one side or the other of the aisle politically, it is just terrible. I mean, you would think that the world, if you're a Democrat, you think the whole world is imploding and will not be around in a week. I mean, and just to the point where there's threats of violence and stuff like that. And if you're a Republican, you're thinking these people can't even string anything together for a sentence.
Sure.
I mean, they're not. So I mean, and I'm not picking sides here. I'm just saying that it's so intense that if you mention what political affiliation you are, 1,000 people automatically hate you, and they don't even know you. And so when you're watching that, we have the same reaction. We were talking off air about this, but your body doesn't know the difference between fear and excitement, right? So
Mm.
they literally have the same exact reaction. You have sweaty palms, and your throat can get dry. You know, your heightened senses, and you're ready for something, right? And so our central nervous system reacts, fight and flight.
It's the way I get before each show, right before we're about to record the show each time.
Yeah, because you have no idea what's going to happen.
I get excited. I see you two, and I'm like, oh man,
Right.
my mouth gets dry. I get the shakes.
He's like,
Sure.
I know that they're going to point out the kale thing. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing, right? So when we get into that state, we're not making really good decisions. We're not necessarily making good decisions, and I think it opens the door for next step. You're a prepper. You know what I mean? And you have an underground bunker, and you spend a lot of money on stuff that's not necessary. And I'm not even exaggerating. In some levels, people take action. You can't even believe the amount of people on both sides of the aisle who come to me with things that they have heard, and they want to react to it in a way.
I need to pull all my money out of the market
Right.
because so and
Because
so is
X.
getting elected, or
Right.
because so and so, because Biden's in office, or because
Yeah.
Trump is in office. They both sides, when their guy doesn't get it, and they don't realize the market has been going on for 100 years and doing
Yeah.
just fine.
Right.
And through a lot of different administrations and different policies,
Mhm.
and so
Right.
yeah, people panic, don't they? They get
Yeah.
emotional. And it's just like, especially, I know seniors struggle. I see this with my parents and with my uh, other relatives that, if they're in assisted living or their mobility is somewhat challenged, they'll either watch CNN all day,
Right.
24/7,
Yeah.
or Fox News.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or if they're really into finances, and this can be younger people, they'll sit there and watch Fox Business News or
Yep.
CNBC, one of the two,
Exactly.
and they
Yeah.
watch it all day long. And it's just like, then they come to me and they say, well, Jim Cramer said, and I'm
Yeah.
like, Jim Cramer is certifiably
Lunatic.
crazy, and I can say that.
Yes.
I mean, Jim Cramer says a lot of things,
Yeah.
right?
He was
I mean,
wrong a bunch of times too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's fun to hear his take. Even he's an
Yeah.
entertainer, and
He's entertaining. That's
yeah,
right.
and he is very entertaining with his little
Mhm.
soundboard. I mean, that's kind of cheesy having to use a soundboard, to get your laughs. But the thing is, I'd never ever resort to that. And
I mean, that deserves applause.
I mean, but you're right. People get scared by the markets and things like that. But
Mhm.
I would agree with you there. People watch these news shows and they let their emotions carry them
Yeah.
away.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm just over it. Like, I grew up in a very liberal area. I grew up in a Democratic, you know, part of the state, and
Sure.
grew up around unions, and so back then everything was based around that.
Yep.
The little guy and all that stuff, and somehow that party's lost touch with reality in a lot of ways. It's made me move more right, and
Yep.
and obviously though, I mean, it's hard because you want the best for everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, my whole point is that if you become a consumer, you're going to be consumed. I mean, if you consume this kind of stuff, you will be consumed by it, and you will not rest. You will not sleep. You'll make dumb choices, and that's what this is about. We have to stay focused on what it is that we want, individually, and
How are you
this
going to meet your goals, and what's the
right.
reality of that? Not, what's this administration going to do? You have to look at your
Yeah.
situation and work with professionals and keep moving forward. The
Yeah.
problem is it's it's paralysis by analysis.
Yes, and yeah, I mean, we have to pay attention to the big beautiful bill. We need to know what's in there because it
Sure.
will impact,
Yeah.
potentially, right? But we don't have to have an opinion on every part of it. We know that what passed the legislation is this. This is how it's going to impact us. It does not need additional right or wrong attached to it. It's much like the food situation where people will villainize food for for whatever reason, this food's good, this food's bad. Well, these bills, I guess how you line up is good or bad, but they're not inherently evil or good. I think they just are.
The word big is true. It's so big. There's really good things that some people are going to love, and there's some things that are really bad for other people. There's
Right.
some things in the bill that are good for a lot of people, and there's some things in the bill that might be bad for a lot of people. It's so huge. It's all encompassing. You can't just judge it
Right.
all as a whole, but you do have to pay attention to the real world somewhat, but you can't allow yourself to be obsessed by it. And again, it's like my mom and dad used to say, you are what you eat, right, Jennifer? You are what you eat.
Yes.
Which is why I look nothing like kale. And so, so where is that rim shot? Anyway, where's my soundboard? But you're right. So Jennifer, on the food and the health side, intake is huge. I mean, you've talked about it every show. Intake has a lot to do with how we feel, doesn't it? Physically as well, right?
Yeah. Well, I always try to get to the point where food is becoming your fuel, but it's also important to stay curious. How is this food making me feel? It's good information to tune into. And once you start slowing down and becoming more mindful, taking the pause in between bites and not being distracted doing 10 other things while you're eating your meals, you really start to listen and pay attention to, how that food is making you feel from a function standpoint. A high sugar diet, that's gonna leave you feeling lethargic. It's gonna affect your mood, your focus, your ability to focus. And of course, as it relates to what we just talked about, that's going to affect your productivity and even your financial decision making. Whereas if you have a nourishing meal, a balanced meal, you're probably going to want to exercise. Your energy will be to the point where it's going to encourage you to exercise. Make a juicer as part of your meal. Just have more confidence, and even probably better boundaries with money and personal relationships.
Yeah. Well, think about all the, the targeted ads for fad diets and fitness routines. That's kind of what I'm talking about too. Where like what we're, ingesting, it leads to something, right? So, these things make you make a decision. And is it going to be outside of your process, or is it going to be something that helps you? Right. And I think that the thing is, you have to get such a good, I think when you have a financial plan and you have a fitness plan, it makes it so much easier to say that's for me, that's not for me, right? It's if you don't have a plan and you're not secure in what it is that you're doing, you are going to be so susceptible to all this nonsense that's out there. And I guess that's what we're breaking this down to. You get stuff that, from Fox or CNN or Instagram or Facebook or everybody's opinion. You're going to turn that into action items that may not line up with what is ultimately going to do something for you.
And just like junk food, right? There's junk media too. I like doom scrolling to the point where the world's going to end. I can't see how many clients walk into their workouts and they are just full of fear. And it spills into their ability to focus on the routine that I had planned for them. So even to the point where some people skip their workouts because they're so caught up in it.
Wow.
So you're programming your brain, whether you realize it or not, based on what you're taking in. News, comparison. A lot of these social media feeds are just constantly feeding you the ideal image of what you should look like, what you should think, what you should feel like. Unfollow it.
Yeah. Unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe.
Remember, when I was back in the day when I was coming up, 20 plus years ago, 25, 30 years ago, sales training was all about, fear or love. They said, every book that they had out there was that people buy because of fear or love, right? So those are the only two things that really motivate people to make real changes, are fear and love. And so, a psychologist also told me one time that all fear is the fear of death in some capacity, right? So the reality is that when you have doomsday stuff, when you have these things, If it builds fear of any respect, it means that your life is going to be altered dramatically, or it's going to end if you don't have this, or you think this way, or you don't think this way. Mm-hmm. It's all this final, idea that if you don't act and move and do what I tell you to do, you're dead. Mm-hmm. Right. So I think that's what happens is we get caught up in these things. But if you have somebody that is actually interested in your best interest, and you find, a pathway, it makes it so much easier to drown all that nonsense out. And, if you want peace in your life, that's another option too, is just to shut it down. Mm-hmm. Nobody cares. Mm-hmm. No one's changing anybody's mind.
It's true.
It's really just don't.
And I feel like you need to ask yourself, is this food or media helping me feel how I want to feel? And that's the question you have to ask yourself.
Yeah. Well, think about the rise in podcast, the rise in alternative, information. The reason that, these news outlets and networks are going to be a dinosaur soon is because people are tired of it. I think people are fed up and they want to talk about the things that they want to talk about, not what's been, going to be driving down our throat every day. Mm-hmm. I saw this clip one time, and it blew my mind. And it was literally the same story, almost verbatim, in all local channels of, I think it was one of the major a major, ABC, CBS, NBC, something like that. It was literally the same story in every market, almost the same one. Wow. So the idea that media doesn't control things or try to control things.
Oh, sure.
Is it's just so obvious, and it's frightening what consuming that can do to you. Why are they doing that? Why? What are they driving? Are they just trying to sell pizza? I don't know. Are they trying to change minds? Mind control's real, right? So
changing hearts and minds.
Yeah, one piece of pizza at a time.
But I think ultimately we're getting into like the deeper level of like psychology, because ultimately a lot of this scrolling is just that dopamine hit. It's a habit.
It is.
And
people get their
dopamine.
Yes.
On their phones, just scrolling like.
Yes. And you have to ask yourself, like, is that serving me? What is that doing for me?
Right.
Time killer.
Yeah. You can't expect, I think, like healthy behaviors when you're feeding all these unhealthy inputs.
Yeah.
And whether that's your body or your bank account for that matter.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. I feel like if, I have clients that say, I didn't get as much sleep as I would have liked because I was binge watching this episode on Netflix and just couldn't stop watching it, and then they get poor sleep, and then they're lackluster during their session.
I'll admit I've done that. I'm guilty of that. I will get addicted. I'll start watching a series and like, man, this is good. Only 8 episodes. I can make it through all 8. 8 hours later, I'm like, oh, I should have slept or eaten or done something during that 8 hours.
And then they're tired. Guess what they're doing? They're looking for sugar. They're going to get the caffeine later in the day, and then who knows?
It's like my butt has been macrameed into the couch.
Yeah.
How was that possible?
Well, think about it.
I've been here 8 hours addicted to the show.
I'll tell you why it's possible, because it's like next up in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's your clip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay for this. So, geez, I got to know what happened.
Yeah, the discipline to stop and actually go to bed at some point is like a lot of us don't have it because it's triggering. It's the excitement. It's just like staying up all night to, if you're into books, you get a book that's a page turner, and you're like, next thing you know, it's 4 hours later, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
the words are getting blurry. Oh, that's because I've been reading for 4 hours straight.
Wow.
Yeah. The problem is now there's audiobooks. I listen until I fall asleep. I'm actually so tired I just fall asleep listening. And then the next day I got to try to figure out in the audiobook where I was. I'm like, wait.
Do you remember this part?
I'm 1 chapter away from the end. I started it last night. How I got to go back 34 chapters I slept through. It's like, that's not good.
Oh my gosh. But I tell my clients, what you read and the media, what you scroll, what you listen on watch the news. It's just as impactful as what you snack on. I do believe that.
It's like it's comfort food, and it's, what is it, the dopamine or whatever in our, it triggers that, right?
I mean, I dare you to watch a news cycle all night and then not want to eat a burger or eat something bad.
Oh, when I
Why?
watch pizza all night, or when I watch pizza all night, there you go, a little Freudian slip. When I watch TV all night, or especially sports, those ads that joke that they're just trying to sell you food, but they are. I mean, I asked my wife, and she goes, "You're so susceptible." Because if I see somebody in a movie, not even an ad, if I see them cooking or making pizza, I'm like, I want a pizza. Let's order pizza.
Yeah, seriously.
But yet I've never gone, are they frying vegetables? Let's go get some broccoli and kale. That's never ever happened.
Oh my gosh, we saw Kevin James live.
Oh, he is so funny.
Oh, he was hysterical. Funny. He had this whole bit about going to Wendy's. Like he snuck out, and he was like,
he snuck out to go to Wendy's.
Yeah, he had this whole plan to have a Friday night with his wife, and then he said they had a foreign exchange student or something, right?
Uh-huh.
And he said, "Hey, I guess the foreign exchange student said, 'Hey, can you get me a burger or something?'" He's like, "Oh, I'll get it." And he runs. So then he drives out, and then he's like, he looks in the lane, and there's just this guy who he called Fat Melissa.
Yes,
Fat Melissa was in the lane, the next to him, and this other guy, and then he like orders the whole menu, and then he's like looking over, and the guy next to him is already like 3 or 4 burgers in, and he just has this look on his face, like, it's just pure joy and excitement. It is. I mean, highly recommend watching Kevin James stand up.
Oh, he's funny.
It was,
he's great.
Funny. He is so good.
He is great. Well, not only you are what you eat, but you are what you watch, and you've got to be careful about what you're putting in, what you're taking in through your eyes, through your mouth. And that is really important. And I know you both deal with that when it comes to finances. People panic when they just get lost in social media or politics, Jeff, and you, Jennifer, when people do the same with food. So that's an important message. Now, if our listeners want to get on a plan that will keep them on the straight and narrow from a health standpoint or a financial standpoint, how can they get a hold of you?
So for Fredericksburg Fitness, you'll go to our website, and that's fbergfitness.com. F as in Frank, B as in boy, urgfitness.com. And you'll click on the link at the top that says book free discovery call.
All right. That's awesome. And again, the double F's right there. Speaking of double F's, fitness and finance. How about you? The insurance, Jeff, has she talked to you about changing your company information? Because I'm reading this right. It's theretirementsmith.com is your website. No F's in that one.
No F's, not a single one. But two in my name. So there you go.
There you go. There you go.
Jeff. Yeah. Yeah. You go to theretirementsmith.com and you can click on the top right corner.
Oh my gosh, that joke. Just stop, Jeff. I mean, hello! I'm cold and there are wolves after me. That's what that joke made.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson.
Oh my gosh, I got double.
Danger.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
Yeah.
You get the double sound effect.
Okay, so how can they get a hold of you? Jeff, you're offering a no charge, no obligation consultation to get a financial plan in place or review where you're at. This is what you do. You've helped so many people in our community. How can they do that?
Yeah, they can go to theretirementsmith.com and you go to the top right corner and click contact us and get an appointment scheduled through Chris. Chris is really good at managing that, and he'll get you right on the books.
All right. Well, Jennifer and Jeff, great show today. We had a lot of fun. Thanks for your input on juicing. And sorry, Jeff, I'm not talking about steroids. So for our listeners and viewers out there, thank you so much. That does it for today's episode of Fitness and Finance Radio with our host, Jennifer Scherer and Jeff Smith.